Hey everybody, I want to give you my review on the Mars 300 wireless transmission system. Hollyland sent this to me, asked me to test it and give an honest review, and that's what I'm going to do. And I have to say, right off the bat, I was really impressed. This is their entry-level model. They do make higher-end models, the Cosmos series, but this is their entry-level model, kind of meant really for DSLR cameras, is what it's primarily good for. And I have to say, for $500, it's really good. The first thing I want to say is it's made out of metal, which a lot of times things like this would be made out of plastic, but it is durable. It is solid, which is really great. It's lightweight. And I don't know, it's just made really well. So when you buy it, what you get is you get a transmitter and a receiver, and you get, with each of these units, you get 2 antennas plus a spare set in case something goes wrong. And they just screw in at the top, super easy. And they spin and they articulate, which is great. Okay. You also get one of these adapters that you use to put onto the hot shoe of your DSLR. It has a 1/4-20 screw, which matches this one at the bottom, and you can mount it vertically onto your DSLR camera. It also comes with one of these metal side plates that comes off, and allows another 1/4-20. It allows you to mount it like this instead of vertical like this. It's okay that you get one of these because you can get these really easy. This is a very generic part. But this little metal plate on the side can only come from Hollyland. So I really wish they would give us 2 of these, one for the receiver, one for the transmitter. So that's, one of the negatives about it. This only transmits HD, so 1080p. It does not transmit 4K, so you should be aware of that. But in most cases, I think if it's just for a client to watch, HD is plenty good, so I don't think that's a big deal breaker, but you should be aware of that. It is HDMI. That's what the inputs are. There's no SDI on this. So usually on a DSLR camera, you would do a mini HDMI out, and then it would go HDMI into this. What's cool about it is on the transmitter, you have an HDMI in, but then you also have an HDMI loop, which is really great because that way you can transmit the signal to the receiver, plus you could pass it through into an additional monitor. So that's really great as well. I think that something that's important to know is that there is a latency issue with this system. It's about 1/3 of a second to 1/2 of a second delay between the transmitter and the receiver. Now, again, for the price point, I don't think this is an issue. I think it's okay. I think if you're going to just send a signal to a monitor and a client wants to just see kind of what you're framing up or just as a reference, I think it works fine. I think the real issue for latency probably comes more when maybe you've got the camera on a remote head and you're somewhere else, maybe on wheels or something, and you're watching the transmission to the receiver, and there's that delay of 1/3 to 1/2 a second, and you're trying to track something on your end. It's going to be off. It's going to be hard to anticipate that. So that's when latency really becomes an issue. And so if that's important to you, or if that's how you're going to use it, this is probably not the right system to use. But again, they have the Cosmos series, and they definitely have ones that have way less latency issues. So you should be aware of that. When it comes to powering these, you use these Sony NP-F batteries. What's great is they're very universal and cheap. It doesn't come with any of these, but you can buy 2 of these, of the slim 550s, I think is what these ones are, and a dual charger for like $30. So that's pretty inexpensive. So you can get a bunch of these and it would be fine. I tested this system for over 2 hours and the battery didn't crap out at all. It was very strong. So it doesn't have any kind of battery indicator to tell you when the battery's about to go down, so you kind of just have to anticipate it. But again, if you kind of figure out how, once you test it once and kind of see how long it lasts, then you know that you just need to swap these out before, the 2 hours or whatever, after you've tested it, to kind of figure out kind of where it would crap out. What's really nice is the mount on the back has a button, so when you put it in here, you push the button, you lock it in place, it's locked, it's secure. That's a really great feature too. I have to say, again, I'm very impressed by this system. Yes, I wish it had SDI, but it is technically made for DSLR, so the HDMI is fine. Yes, the latency is definitely there, and if you're, again, just using it as a reference for a client and nothing else, I think that's totally fine. I wish it again had an additional one of these plates for both the receiver and the transmitter. And yeah, I mean, it would be nice if it transmitted 4K, but HD is plenty good for your client. Again, for the price point, you're getting something that's very well made, is easy to use, lightweight. The battery choice that they chose for this was smart. This is a great battery choice. It's just an all-around great transmitter. So if you're trying to get into the world of getting one of these transmitters and you don't want to spend a lot of money, definitely look at the Mars 300. You'll be very impressed. The last thing I want to say about it is, it is the Mars 300 because it's rated to be 300 feet is the transmission distance, as long as it's a straight line of sight. I actually got it all the way up to almost 600 feet before I had any issues. And also I tried it around some buildings and things. And of course that reduces the signal length that you get, but I have to say it was still really, really good. So this thing is pretty dang impressive. So check it out, and I promise you, if you test it, you're gonna like it. That's my review.